Welcome into the Boardroom podcast. I'm Ward 6 Alderman Ben Piper.
Ward 4 Alderman Chad Wicker.
Here we are.
Yeah.
April.
You actually recorded one on time. You're here on time.
I know, it's getting crazy. I thought it'd be like, late April Fools. We actually got one on time, maybe. I don't know. So, yeah, a lot going on in the city of Hernando this week. We had an election, city election.
Board meeting.
Got a board meeting
Bad
same
weather.
night. Tornadoes ripping through the area. Fortunate that Hernando did not sustain any damage. That's the most important thing. But certainly our thoughts and prayers are with the people in Senatobia, Coldwater area, especially
County, yeah.
Marshall County, Selmer, Tennessee. I know was hit really hard. Park City, Arkansas. Just a lot of areas there.
There was the governor said there was 3 deaths in Tippah County also.
Oh wow, I had not heard that one yet, but that is there's road closures, there's roads that are flooded, but luckily in Hernando we've been able to avoid quite a bit of that. We did late on Thursday. The board took action to declare the existence of an emergency event, which would allow the city to do what it needs to do with either county government or state government, with MEMA or FEMA or whatever is needed in case there is any, if there's flash flooding or there's any sort of really strong damage that occurs Friday or Saturday and into the weekend and Sunday.
So like if
we'll be covered.
Obviously if we spend more than a certain amount of money, it has to be go for the board and be bid out and things. And so when we declared emergency, basically is what we did. Say if there is bad flooding, which is maybe is a chance of this, tonight, tomorrow, the fire chief could go to Walmart and get 20 boats or life jackets or tarps or whatever. So
sandbags,
it kind
all
of
the
frees
stuff.
up that ability to do that. So
hopefully we won't need any of that. I don't think that we will. I mean, just in talking with county emergency management, folks, they said they didn't think that that would likely to happen, but it's good to take proactive measures so that you can go ahead and get it done, right?
Yeah,
so
that's right.
that was kind of the thought process behind that, for the two of us kind of pushing that forward in case anybody sees that. But, well, let's move on to the election coverage. We don't have, any music or any kind of, cool music for, election time. We'll work on that. We got to figure out some kind of, like Fox News has that big bell, like, boom. Yeah, we need something like that.
Hold on, I may have a bell.
Let's see if we got a bell. Election time.
This one here.
Election update. So we did, on Tuesday, there was a citywide election for alderman at large. Yes. And also in Ward 5, incumbent.
Well, every office was up for election. Those were the only 2 contested races.
Thank you for clarifying. So first and foremost, Mayor Chip Johnson, Ward 1, Alderman Natalie Lynch, Ward 2, Alderman Andrew Miller, Ward 3, Alderman Bruce Robinson, Ward 4, Alderman Chad Wicker, and Ward 6, Alderman Ben Piper were unopposed, and they will continue to serve the city of Hernando for the next 4 years. And then in the Alderman at Large race, we are headed to a runoff. There was 3 candidates in that race. The leading vote getter was Jeff Hobbs, a former Ward 6 alderman.
He got 612 votes.
612 votes.
And then Laura Lee McClendon came in second, 464. And then Jarrett Myshaw got 197. And so no one got over 50% plus 1. So they got to do it again on
April 22nd.
22nd. You know about that. You know about runoffs.
I know about runoffs. I've been in a runoff myself in 2021. And it is stressful. It is very stressful because, and I will tell you why, this is to give you a little bit of a look behind the curtain. As a candidate, this is what happens is that everyone that you've talked to for the previous 3 months and about why they should vote for you, you have to try to go see all of them again in a 3-week period to either remind them that voting is coming again or, if they have any additional questions for you, whatever it may be. It can be a very stressful time and a lot of work. So you need volunteers, and you need people to help you, but we'll see how the candidates do. It'll either be Jeff Hobbs or Lauren Lee McClendon joining us on the board starting July 1st, 2025. They'll be sworn in. So one of those 2 individuals will be there. April 22nd, make sure you get out to vote again. all the same precincts and everything. And then in Ward 5, we had incumbent Beth Roan Ross and challenger Kit Kitchens. And Kit Kitchens won that race.
217 to 147.
217 to 147, so a 70 vote margin. And he will join us on the board here in July. Talked to him that evening, told him congratulations. Had previously known him just through playing rec soccer. His daughter's on our team, and so knew Kit and his wife April through that, and just through mutual friends and church friends. And it's a small town, Mississippi. It's hard to not know somebody, especially if they're if they're involved and whatnot. So he was obviously very excited. He was excited to tell me too that once he's sworn in, he will officially be the youngest alderman on the board, taking over your 4-year reign.
Is he's younger than me?
He said he was 32 years old.
Oh, if he's 32, he's way younger.
He's way younger. So I'd let him know that your nickname going forward is Old Man Wicker. So just to keep you in check, we got to you always give me a hard time about being younger than me. So
yeah,
I'm going to make sure that passes along.
One thing I want to mention, Ben, is so if you take the alderman at large race was the most voters, 1,273 people voted. There's 12,224 registered voters in the city of Hernando. So you're talking about a turnout of around 10.3%, something like that. So 90% of the people did not vote.
And that's, I think that compared to the 2021 election, they had about 3,100, 3,200?
Yeah, I think the turnout rate in that race was around 30%. You can say close to that.
So normally it would be higher.
Yeah, about a third of the people who voted that time did not vote in this election.
Yeah, so you have, and maybe that's a little bit on, the turnouts, partially on, us that are unopposed, not trying to get more people out there, to say hey, make sure you get out there and vote. It's still important. You still have somebody that I have to work with, as alderman at large. You make sure you get out and vote. I think all of us shared a lot of that information on Facebook and whatnot. The weather was great. There's absentee voting. There's all kind of reasons to go vote. So, it's a matter of taking 5 minutes to go and do it. I think it took me less than 5 minutes. I think it's about 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's not a long process. We changed the polling place to make it easier to get in and out of, and
better parking.
Yeah,
safer.
But I know I've said this before. I mean, until we start voting at a higher level, a higher rate, we're going to have the same issues. So,
yeah, I think it's I think that one. No one is. I mean, if you're unopposed, then in general, you should take that as a mandate that whatever you've been doing, you should continue doing. Maybe there's some things you should change, and that's what I told people when I was, kind of going through the last few months. Hey, if there's something I'm not doing that you hadn't liked in the last 4 years, let me know.
Yeah, and
certainly got feedback on that, and I'll try to do better. And that's all what we should all be striving to do, is to try to do better, not just stay the same. But yeah, I think that if we have 1,000 people that show up on April 22nd to decide who gets that alderman at large spot, those 1,000 people are deciding, maybe some of the direction of the city.
Yeah,
for the next 4 years.
Absolutely.
So there's a couple of different ways to look at that. Obviously, two people that, we have at least met and talked to some. We're not. I can honestly say I don't know either one of them extremely well.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the two candidates for alderman
the two
at large.
candidates for alderman at large. So, we've kind of shied away from just really giving our opinions on either one. I'm going to continue to do that because until the race is finished, it's.
Well, we'll have to work with whoever wins is victorious, and
that's right.
I think we all want to do what's betterment for the city of Hernando. I think that's what everybody. I think nobody does this for money or any other reason. So I think we all maybe have different ideas how to get there, but we want to see our community strive and do well. So. I respect their opinions, and we'll have maybe some fierce debates.
Yeah, hopefully somebody will set up something like that, or maybe some more podcast interviews or something like that with some of the other podcasts in the area. Maybe they'll get them back on again.
Well,
I don't know.
I think they've already done. I think they've spoken with everybody. I don't know if they're going to go back and redo that or not, but
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the latest is on that, but we did have so that was our election results. We still have a runoff election coming on April the 22nd, like we mentioned. But congratulations to Kit Kitchens and his family for the hard work, and we appreciate all the work that Beth Ross put in over the last 4 years, and you certainly get to know people better. I didn't know Beth very well before.
No,
we this, and you get to know him over 4 years, and
it's hard not to, and Kit maybe in the same position we were 4 years ago. Now you're the dog chasing the car. Now you caught the car. So
yep,
time to get to work now.
I think I think the day after the election, I went by to pick up. I had a sign I put out, a thank you sign.
I saw your sign.
Oh, here we go. I put out a sign. I have one thank you sign I put out at the precinct. Anyway, I went by to help to get that picked up, and he was trying to get some of those green T-posts out of the ground. And I was helping him do that, and we got to chatting or whatever. And he was like, "What do you think what's the biggest thing we need to start looking at or what?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, obviously, we got a lot of meetings between now and July, to attend for sure. But then also just like the budget. I was like, the budget's just this huge thing. It's a lot to learn and all that kind of stuff. And I started talking through some of the finer points of it or whatever. And it's just a lot of information to take in. And so hopefully we can get more time to talk about that and just sort of gather information and whatnot. But he looked ready to go and ready to get to work and excited about it. So good for him. He did say his schedule has lightened up
I bet,
with that day passing. So we'll hopefully all of us can get a chance to chat with him and get him plugged in, get him going. All right, so we had a board meeting on Tuesday, Tuesday evening. A few things that were in the consent agenda we want to make sure that we pointed out. The city is partnering with the local soccer club, the Lobos Rush DeSoto, to host the Center of Excellence program at the Hernando Soccer Complex for 6 dates in April and May. The program's for boys and girls ages 2017 to 2014 age groups with prior rec soccer experience. It's offered at no cost. They also have we had another agreement for even younger levels than that. For birth years 2019 and 2010. Those dates are July 7th through 11th and July 14th through the 18th, so they'll have another free camp then. So the Lobos Rush Soccer Club doing a couple camps during the spring and the summer. So the spring ones, that's going to be for the older kids. That's kind of where my two youngest are at. There's always a lot of kids that are out there. If you've ever gone out on a Saturday when all the soccer games are going on, you see how many people are tied into soccer in Hernando. Yeah. I would dare say it's 500, 600 people.
Yeah. My youngest son is really taken to it this year. He's really enjoying it, and we're going to attend those camp there. So,
it should be a great. It looks like. I'm going to have to ask about this because I noticed it just now. The age groups are 2014 to 2017 and then 2019 to 2020. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go back. So what about the 2018 kids?
I think there's
probably the U8 kids.
Yeah, I think they want U8 and above.
Yeah.
I think what they're trying to do is some of these guys who are playing rec, see if some of them are interested in playing for their team and do some skill stuff, and then they're having a camp later on, I think, just for everybody. So it's all free, but just to,
And we got a lot of listen. That's the other thing is that if you're not plugged into this stuff, I get it. If your kid doesn't play, it would make no sense for you to go out there to the soccer complex and watch random kids play soccer. Yeah. There's a lot of really talented kids.
Oh yeah,
coming up that that probably should be playing at maybe a competitive level or want to play at a competitive level.
I think the results are. I mean, if you see, our high school team won the state championship last year. Then I think what we recognized the 8th grade team for being undefeated or whatever, or a recent board meeting. So there's a lot of strong talent in the Hernando school zone. So, and I think that's because we have invested in our soccer program, invested in our soccer facilities, and that program has over, I think, 600 kids playing soccer.
In the spring, and then there'll be another, the same I think it was 575 or something like that in the fall. So I mean, it's literally almost to the level that baseball, softball, and t-ball is. It's really grown in popularity. I think everybody has a good time with it. But there's also another. Now this is a paid program, but it's a paid instructional sport program, a youth track and field program for ages 7 to 12. That'll be a 6-week program. On Tuesdays from 5:30 to 7:30 at Kirkendall Park. It will be June 10th through July 22nd, and the coaches are with the Hernando Track and Field program.
Be hot out there.
It will be warm. It'll be warm, but it'll be all right. They're Mississippi kids. It'll be okay. I might have to get my son to do that. He likes running. But that's a new paid instructional program that'll be coming to Hernando as well. So a lot going on. If you're a parent, you already know all this stuff. Summer camps, vacation Bible schools,
and I
all
believe,
these things are getting cranked up.
If I understood it correctly, that from Jared is that the Hernando High School track team coaches are the ones putting that on.
Oh, okay.
So either they're if you're interested in running cross country or 400-yard dash or whatever 100-yard dash, you
didn't do track in high school too, did you? You're I did. 18 sport athlete over here.
I didn't do it in high. I didn't. So ninth grade. I did, but after that, I didn't do track anymore.
Okay.
So you don't believe me by looking at me now, but I used to be a fast kid.
I mean, you're faster than me currently, so I believe it. I believe it. You got that determination. But it's a great sport to because track and field you're on a team, so it builds some camaraderie.
Yeah.
But then it's also like it's you. Yeah. I mean, you're the one that's got to do the running or throwing or whatever you're doing. So it is something where
I think we have a strong cross country team.
Very strong. Yeah.
I think one of the girls we recognized at the board meeting last year went to Mississippi State to run track. So
yeah, absolutely. There's some really, really good runners out there. I know Lane Carter, one of my neighbors over in there. I know she's real involved with the track and field.
Yeah, I think her daughter's
program, and she does quite a bit with it. And I shouldn't mention one coach without the other one, but I don't know the other. I can't remember the other coach's name just off the top of my head right now. But I know
that's going to cost you a
But
vote.
Anyway, no, I'm not worried about that. But the main thing is that we've got a lot of opportunities for kids coming up in the spring and the summertime. And all the sport tryouts are about to go on if your kids are in middle school and high school. So there's whole
everything from tennis to soccer. And then I saw just the other day. I think it was on Facebook that. Hernando signed had a first wrestler sign a scholarship. So
that's going to be. I think that if your kids are younger, I think Connection Gym has a wrestling program that you can join in and be a part of. I think there's probably some in the Memphis area as well. If you're wanting to make the drive.
Yeah, we're not talking about professional wrestling. This is amateur wrestling.
Yeah, no, this is not Macho Man and Ric Flair and those guys. That's probably way too old of a reference, but those.
You're older than me. I don't know about any Macho Man.
There you go. I walked into that, but it's a sport that's going to, I think, grow really, really quickly in the area. Wrestling's been something that hasn't been big in the state. That wasn't a sanctioned sport for a long time, and now that it is. It's grown in popularity. I know Lewisburg has a pretty big wrestling program that's gotten off the ground there. So, but yeah, one thing, and this is one of these things that just sort of popped up kind of out of nowhere.
Just out of nowhere?
I mean, I felt like it did. It just sort of sometimes aldermen will have a heads up that something's coming, and we had a call late last week about the opportunity for a potential of a splash pad and nature play area at Renaissance Park.
Yes.
Chad, you want to talk more about that?
Yeah. So the Blue Cross Blue Shields, they have a grant program that we had applied for, and basically, I think we filled out our application with assistance from the director of that program, and she basically told us what we need to put in there. So we feel very good. We're going to get the grant for the splash pad. However, the grant only pays for construction costs, and so we'll have to put in the money for engineering. And so that's what we did at the meeting on Tuesday was approve to start that process of putting out RFP for professional services to engineer a splash pad at Renaissance Park. So this is another element. We're having to piecemeal that park together, and so this is another element that we're going to put there. Hopefully, and Jared was encouraged that if we get this thing done, we may could see some usage, not this summer, but next summer. So.
Yeah, I think that it's one of those things that has been talked about. That that's been talked about in the past. That parents have said, hey, it would be really great if Hernando had a splash pad.
Yeah.
Right. I think there's been private groups that have said, well, could we donate the money to do it? It's an expensive venture. I don't think people realize how expensive splash pads can be. And then there's maintenance costs and other things associated with it down the road.
Brandon has a really nice one, kind of close to Shelby's parents' house. And it's when you say splash pad, I'm not talking about like a little wall with sprinklers on it. This thing's a whole pad and almost like a kiddie pool kind of deal. So
it's a good way to to get kids out when it gets really hot. I mean, we have really, really hot summers here. Everybody knows that. Yeah. July and August specifically they're pretty brutal. So it's hard to get the kids out to do things when it gets that hot. Especially in the middle of the day, you got to get them out first thing in the morning to to get any kind of activity in. So just gives them an opportunity to get out and do something. But we'll have to just wait and see what happens with that grant. And once we get, I guess, the engineering committed to it, then we can continue to reapply for it year in and year out. But it would be something, in that Renaissance Park area that would be a dynamic addition.
Another piece of that, with the baseball fields, with the disc golf. And while I'm thinking about it, if anybody's been out there, they've cleared off the area for the disc golf holes. I think they've installed some. So it's getting close out there.
Yeah, another thing that you may have noticed, I think, and I can't remember if we talked about it on a previous episode or not, but there has been some clearing right there at Dilworth and McInvale. Did we talk about that?
Yes. Well, we talked about it to the school, to kids at this class. I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast.
Okay. So just to update y'all really quick, if you notice there's some trees and some right-of-way that was sort of cleared right there at Dilworth and McInvale. If you don't know where that is, it's just south of the Compel Church property. And there's, some turn lane. There's a turn lane right there that sort of just abruptly ends, and there's probably 150, 200 feet, maybe less than that, of just dirt that's kind of cleared right there. So the city is looking at the possibility of extending that turn lane all the way, so kind of extending the Compel Church turn lane all the way to Dilworth. So there's a dedicated turn lane to hopefully take some pressure off some of that traffic that everybody sees every morning that school's in session to go to the middle school and high school, which will be the future 4th and 5th grade school and the middle school once all the transitions are made there. So that could be something that's hopefully done before the next school year. I don't know, that may be a little ambitious. We have a lot of projects that are in the hopper right now before next school year. We've got the McInvale construction that we talked about. We've got the roundabout construction that we talked about at Green Tea and McInvale. So a lot going on to try to improve traffic conditions over on
traffic flow
on that road. Yeah, it's just a lot going on for sure from that standpoint.
What was the next thing on the meeting there? I think wasn't a whole lot. We had several proclamations. One for the declaring the month of military child. The VFW there in Nesbitt helped get that going, so we recognized them with the proclamation.
Yeah, also, Autism Month,
Autism Awareness Month. We had two separate groups help with that, and so recognize them and provide a proclamation for them. Kind of had a full house there at the meeting when we first started. It was election day, so my wife came with me because we were going to go around and check the precincts afterwards. And she's like, "Man, is there anything controversial?" Because usually when we have a lot of people there, Ben, it's a controversial issue or something that people want to talk about. And I was like, "I don't think so. I think it's just regular meeting." And they were really excited about being part of that autism awareness, and they all wore blue, which was really neat. So if you watch the video, there's a lot of blue in the crowd.
Yeah, it was a lot of blue in the crowd, and it's one of those important things that I think that, autism is one of those things. I think people look at it as, I think there's some misunderstandings about it, that it's a disease or an affliction or something. Well, no, they're just people. They're human beings, and they're, they have different challenges than some of the rest of us have. But when you really think about it, we're all flawed. We all have our problems. Some of us have issues with, our temper or self-control or, whatever it may be. And autism just one of those things that we have to raise awareness about.
I'll say, we certainly have a long way to come with that, but I think the stereotype of that has really started fading. And DeSoto County. My wife worked in the SPED department of DeSoto County Schools for a long time. They have a great program. Not just with autistic children, but just overall, their special education program is top notch. There's a lot of people that transfer into DeSoto County schools move here just to go to experience the assistance that they have in the special education program. So,
and the work that those folks do is really important because it is, making accommodations to these students so that they can thrive and that they can get the best education possible is what that's what education's all about.
Speech therapy, behavioral, all that stuff. They do a great job. So,
yeah, absolutely. Well, we appreciate all those teachers that are out there. I know that Teacher Appreciation Week's coming up soon, and I'm sure everybody can see the light at the end of the tunnel. The school year is, I think like 30 days away or something like that. I think 30 school days left or something like that.
It's getting close.
Give or take. So we're getting close to the end of the school year, and then the dog days of summer will get started.
That's right.
But like we said, there's a lot of camps. There's a lot of things going on in the city of Hernando, with the soccer world and also with the track and field. So make sure you check out those programs coming up. But Chad, what else we got?
Man, I think that's all we got today. I think it's a
kind
short,
of a light episode there. But.
Light episode. I mean, we talked about the election. Obviously, we talked about our board meeting. Talked about the various things going on. Just get everybody to be safe. I think we're expecting some pretty good rain. What's the chances over and under we play soccer tomorrow, Ben?
I think it's 0.0%. Yeah, we're probably not playing soccer on Saturday. The weather forecast looks pretty rough, so I don't think that's going to be something we're going to be able to do on Saturday. And honestly, early next week, maybe some of those last game or two will be scheduled sometime next week. Weather is supposed to improve quite a bit and be really nice for next weekend. Events coming up. The Touch a Truck event that was supposed to be held on Saturday, April 5th, that's been postponed. So if you were thinking about going to that, that one has been postponed. April 12th, the Palmer Home Mudbug Bash will be going on the square. Tickets are still available and for sale for that right now. Always a great time. Crawfish, silent auction, great music, all that stuff. Really good time out there. So that's two events that are coming up, and then Easter Sunday after that. So I'm telling you, man, April gets busy now. April gets busy. The next thing you know, it's going to be a fair, and then we'll be, we'll be here at summertime. So it's happening quick. But we got a lot of events coming up. We'll try to keep you all updated on those, and we'll join you here in a couple weeks after our next board meeting. For now, I'm Ben Piper.
Chad Wicker, thank you for listening.